How you doing, folks? You're watching Onward with Onrie Live, and I'm your host, Onrie Compen. You know, I got to say, I really appreciate the fact that over the last few days, you have all taken great pity on me and have decided to hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching the show right now and it's your first time, then please, for the sake of my family, so that they don't see me as a pathetic waste on this planet, if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be great. And then after that, I'm going to stop begging for your support. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to start setting goals. And what that means is I want to get to 1,000 followers. And my 1,000th follower is going to get something special for me. But that's not why we're here right now. We're here today to talk to a fantastic creator. I've known this guy for quite some time now. He is phenomenal. And it is the first time, I think, in the history of comics podcasting that I've managed to safely secure two British-speaking creators back to back. I don't think that's ever been done before, ever in the history of comics podcasting. And if it has, well, then it hasn't been done as classy as I would do it, because yes, you're watching Onward with Onrie Live. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest, Ryan Burke. Ryan, welcome to the show, my boy.
Hey, how's it going?
Dude, you had me going with that Wolverine beard for a minute. It looks great.
I just feel the difference between my author photo and this. This is kind of like a hostage video where I'm like, please save me. And the SWAT team will come in and be like, Ryan was kept underground for 3 years.
you look like British SAS right now, man.
Well, yeah, that's
especially with the tattoo and everything. The tattoo's bad. It's wrong.
Yeah, it's a wing and eagle up here and all that stuff. Yeah. I'm glad you've got two British people in a row. Because once you get to 3, that's like the secret British code.
Yeah, that's like the trilogy will be completed right there.
Yeah. We will secretly activate. Like we have one in every American city that we all just like.
And you guys like form together and, you know, just try and take over our country again. Like we did in 1776.
Some giant Sherlock Holmes, just like.
Yeah, giant Sherlock Holmes. Like Voltron. I think you guys would be successful the next time, especially if you did it right now. This is the perfect time to try and, you know, take over shit in America.
From Canada downwards.
Yeah.
Great.
Once you guys take over, though, here's something I got to say about Canada. They have those their $50 bills are dipped in maple syrup, and they actually smell like maple syrup. Now the $50 US bill smells like someone wiped their ass with it, but like when I go to Canada, I like smelling currency that smells like maple syrup. I think
I don't want to smell currency as it's a loaded gun. It's like Russian roulette, and all 5 of them are bad, but like one of them could smell really nice. I'm never going to taste a quarter and be like.
All right, so before we go on, why don't you tell? I'm going to give you the spotlight right now, and I want you to tell us all who you are, what you're working on, because we got people who are interested in knowing why the hell I brought another British person on the show. So take the spotlight; it's all yours.
Sweet,
take it away.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the writer-producer for the comic neo-noir series Coronary. It's essentially what would happen if plastic surgery became free. Imagine if James Bond, Black Mirror, and Romeo and Juliet all had a baby, but like a 3-way baby. I don't know how that works, but yeah. And I'm also the co-editor for the recently completed anthology Housebound, which was an anthology to raise money for coronavirus charities. It just finished last week before. This is coming out now, right? Yeah, last week.
That's awesome. And we're going to talk more about that. But one thing I want to mention first off for everybody who's listening right now, that you have an incredible artist. I received your package, the Coronary graphic novel. I've read the first 3 issues, and I support the series. I think it's brilliant. Wonderful pitch, by the way. And one of the cool things is our Yisun Shin letterer and designer is your artist on this book, Joel Saavedra. Yeah. Incredible talent. And you guys just, honestly, you killed it with this cover, man. But the one cover that I haven't seen yet is this 4th issue cover, which, I mean, I've seen it before, but this just really killed it.
I know.
Honestly, you did a phenomenal, both of you guys, bravo. You did a great job with it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It just worked. Like, you know, when you like communicate so well, your artist, where you're like, I trust you to do whatever you want. Just do something cool. And they're like, all right, cool. I'm going to do this. and it just like blows it out of the park.
Absolutely. So let's dig a little bit deeper into Coronary first.
Yeah.
What inspired this, and what got you from point A to point B and to where you are now? And we're going to get into that too, but let's start with how it all came about.
It basically started when I was a naive, poor, young writing student, which is, where everyone starts, I think. You've got to start poor in this. And then I finished the whole script for Coronary in one go. And naturally, being like 19, I was like, all right, I'm going to be famous now. I'm just going to sell this and be done. Live off the royalties forever. Become immortal, all that good stuff. And then I eventually built it out from there. So I started with the first 5 pages. That was my initial 5-page pitch that I worked on with Joel. And then it just slowly grown over the years into a issue by issue, just getting larger and larger and larger as it goes.
And the single issues are just also beautiful. They look like magazines, actual and that's the whole thing. The whole idea with the presentation of Coronary too, right? Is it's supposed to look like a fashion magazine. And
that's really, because we get a lot of our inspiration from fashion magazines and how they structure an image. So we're like, cool, I'll just do that. And I think it's copyright free. It's not stealing. It is inspiration. It is smart. It's just.
So okay, you came up with this idea. You wrote it, and naturally, because you're British, it's automatically going to be successful, because anybody who's a British writer automatically finds success in comics. It's just like the nature of law, I have discovered. But you obviously can't just sit back and let that happen on its own. You got to work like the rest of us. So
pretend this is hard.
So you've self-published this so far, and you've been how long have you been working on the series now?
I think the first one was 2017, if I remember rightly. Issue 1. I think we do a Kickstarter campaign every 6-7 months, and this is just the last one that we've done. So we've just been slowly building over time. And it's cool too, because we're slowly learning and honing our craft as we move along. So each issue is not wildly different, but each one is it gets better and better as it goes, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's what I think you want to see in any comic series is a gradual improvement in the artwork and in the storytelling as everything unwinds. I think first issues are always hard, because it's that's your kickoff point.
You kind of have to really writing a first issue is harder than doing a second or third or fourth.
Because all the fun stuff happens,
after
that point. Yeah.
You kind of warm the water a little bit and be like, hey, come on in.
Yeah. And then once you get in the water, you pee in it, and then it's all warm, and it's everybody jump in.
This is all pee. What are you?
So I've noticed also, aside from Kickstarter, that you've started to dabble more in conventions. In fact, we traded tablecloths at Los Angeles Comic-Con. How did that show go for you, and how has the convention experience been?
It was good. Yeah, you kind of get more in the scheme of things. You get more comfortable with it the more that you do it. My first convention, I was just oh my God, what do I do? And then by the second and third, you're like, hey, this is Coronary. This is a neo-noir, blah, 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 blah. You learn the craft as you go, and you learn to read the room a little bit. I think we've talked a lot about this in the past, where how you pitch and to who and when to gauge it out. You know what I mean? So there's tons. It's such a cool, interesting learning experience. Because I feel that writing in particular and making your own projects are very solitary. You work on it on your computer in the basement alone, and then when you get to the con scene, you're like, oh my God, this is so different. And you just kind of have to go with the flow a little bit and learn new things. Every day is a school day. I'm always learning new stuff. So
it's I agree with that. It's I remember when I used to do Taekwondo when I was younger. my instructor told me that, like, practice is like nothing, but once you go and compete, it's like practicing 10 times in a row, like within that one match. It's you're getting all this experience because now you're engaging, and it's hard. What we do, I think, is hard. Just being in that solidified environment, especially right now.
Yeah. So happening right now? Like, what are we still doing cons? Are they coming back?
Yes, they are. Tampa Bay Comic-Con is happening in a couple weeks, and I am signed up. I am locked in, and I am absolutely going there. I, of course, have taken, will be taking every single precaution. I've talked to my doctors. I've talked to my family about it, so everybody's on board with it, and to me, that's what matters. It's just. The way I look at it is this: the show itself is not going to just be like, hey, we got, they typically fill 50,000 people up at this show, and it's not going to, they're not going to be able to do that. It's going to be, I think, like at 25% capacity, which even New York is now saying, like, hey, we can allow churches to open at 25% capacity. So I think as long as people are going to be taking the proper precautions, they're going to be taking people's temperatures at the door. They're going to be setting up lanes so that people, don't just walk into each other so easily. And I don't know why my brain is really racked about this, but I could swear that there was like some kind of toy con this weekend. I saw a video last night, and it was just people walking on a floor. And I mean, I don't need like the big attraction. I mean, I work really well on the flea market ground. I mean, we both do. It's just like we're selling books, we're selling comics. It doesn't matter if it's Spider-Man or whatever. It's our stuff. So I'm excited about it. I want to get back to work. And
how is it gonna? I don't even know how that's gonna play out. Are the tables gonna be separated? Like,
yeah. They got some space in between all the tables and everything. And I mean, eventually, I think that the reality of this is that I don't think we're going to see a vaccine that's going to be super effective for quite some time. And that the reality is that a lot of us, creators, this is how we make our money. It's not just like, hey, I want to go to a con as a fan. It's like, hey, I'm going to work the same way a comic book shop store goes to work, and a lot of the people who are going to these cons, I think that's the kind of people you're going to see coming for a while. Probably not the celebrity going, group is going to be there, but you never know. And it's a shot. I mean, I'm going to have to quarantine for 14 days, and I don't mind. It's like I've already been locked down for 3 months anyway. We all have, right? It's bring it on. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, because I was thinking back to the infamous con crud, like the illness you get.
Oh, absolutely. And like what? That shit wasn't there before. It's all gonna fucking be there then. I got mono from doing conventions, but that was the one time I got sick, and that's it.
All right, just one mono.
Just one mono, and you can only get it once, Ryan.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
This guy wasn't stereoed, and you'd be like,
no, it's just a one-time thing. But but I think this kind of brings me to something that I'm going to kick back to you right now, because we're talking too much about me, and you're the guest. You're the spotlight here.
No, it's not Onward with Ryan. We want to.
You could do that. There's nothing I could do about that. So, if you decide to launch your own show.
It's a podcast unaffiliated with Onrie, legal, separate.
So, one of the things that I think is really wonderful that you don't see happen a lot with creators is the engagement with the fans, and especially when it comes to Kickstarter. Usually the larger the Kickstarter, the less engagement you have with the actual individual. But one thing that I found really touching yesterday when I received your package, because it came here, it was beautifully packaged. Everything was great. And there were stickers in there. There was your business card in there. There was all kinds of extra goodies in there. But the one thing that I really was touched by was this letter here that you threw in. And I was going to read it to everybody, but I feel like I talk too much. My wife even told me I talk too much. But I think it would also sound better coming from you, because not only are you British, but you're the guy who wrote it. So would you mind reading to us what you sent to me yesterday?
Google Docs. Yeah. Dramatic reading.
Yeah. Clear that throat.
Make
Make sure you got that British.
Think of Tweed. Think
Yeah.
of Popes. Hey, it's me again. It goes without saying how thankful the team is for your help in making this project possible. 2 years ago, we played with the idea of having a collected trade paperback of all 4 issues. You know, something weighty, professional looking, crisp. And now with your help, we've made it happen. We're immensely proud of what we've accomplished, and you're a part of it. It'd be a criminal understatement to say we live in interesting times. It's become my new favorite phase to dislike, along with the words unprecedented and historic. I don't really have words to describe what's going on without just repeating what we already know. But I think the irreplaceable Mr. Rogers said it best. Can I do the Mr. Rogers thing? I don't know.
No, just keep it in the British context.
Oh, good.
Mr. British or Mr. Rogers was secretly Mr. British. He had that whole thing. But keep going. It's great.
When I was a boy, I would see scary things in the news. My mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers. You'll always find people who are helping." To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I'm always comforted by realizing there are so many helpers, so many caring people in this world. As always, help one another and stay cool. That's it. And then I signed at the end with me.
No, I think that's a really touching thing. I don't think enough creators take the time to really bring this out and, address what's going on. And, it shows that you give a shit, that you're not just like, here, thanks for giving me your money. Here's my book, and it's hard. Nobody's saying it's easy, but, I thought this was a nice touch on your end.
Yeah. It's not to be, it's not that expensive to be nice. Like, it's cheap most of the time being nice. And I feel like writing a letter just like helps, because it is a communication. Like, everything is, you're putting yourself out there. So, thanking is free. Like, thank all the time. Overthank.
I agree. I think that's something that, and going back to what you were saying about being in the basement and writing and then actually getting out there and putting this out. I mean, how did it feel for you getting that first issue done?
It was, well, my wife always tells me, don't emphasize how scared you are of everything, but everything is scary. Comics is like, you're putting a lot of yourself into all this work, and you're saying, like, this is my story. I think it's good enough. I'm willing to get out there and pitch to hundreds and thousands of people about why my idea is good. And you have to really like push and be like, this is what I want to do. Because that's like what the core of indie comics is like, no one is making a ton of money off this. No one is getting famous. No one is getting like huge, but everyone is still like so dedicated to it. And I feel that like makes you a different kind of person, different kind of creator. Because everyone I know is so dedicated to this. Like, just looking back at all your other Onward with Onries that you've done, you're like, every one of them is just like on it.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from them, and I have to say that I learned what I've learned over the course of doing this show. I'm absolutely going to apply to conventions going forward, and it really is. It takes a completely different set of skills. I mean, that's not to say that working at Marvel or DC doesn't require a lot of thinking either. You're playing in sandboxes with mainstream characters that are established and have been around for a long time, and no matter what happens, someone's going to tell you fucked up.
Yeah.
It's kind of like politics right now. There's always going to be half of the people are always going to hate the guy at the podium, and the other half are going to love him. No matter what he says, what he does, doesn't matter. That's just the kind of divisiveness that you see in the world today.
Yeah.
Is you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
And I think with indie comics, that's the advantage we do have, is the fact that people see that we actually are trying to become that next big thing. And they're like, they kind of, they want to give us that honest shot. And when we engage those people by writing these letters and, going and appearing in public and signing their books for them, it really does have that impact.
Yeah, that is one of the main things I miss. Specifically from conventions, is like it's not just young folks, but like people who are like aspiring and like want to get into it. and their work is so good. Like there are people out there that are ridiculously talented that just need like just a little push in the right direction, and like just being taken and being picked up by this community is it's a huge advantage. And
Absolutely, and it's not always so easy. I mean, I think like you know, at first I remember like what was it, like 15 years ago, I read this article that like Gail Simone and Mark Waid had mentioned it, that like breaking into comics was like a big firewall. But then about 10 years ago, I was at a bar with Tim Seeley, and he was telling me that like you're not breaking into comics once, you're always breaking into comics. You have to constantly reestablish yourself. Every time you get on a project, it's like you're relaunching, and that's tough. You got to care about what you're doing.
Yeah, so I remember reading, I think it was watching Watchmen. Like Dave Gibbons wrote a book about his experience with Watchmen, and he said once he finished it, someone was like, "Cool, what's your next book? Like, what's your next thing?" And I'm like, he just wrote like the Moby Dick of comics.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing next? What's the next thing? Like there is always like the next thing to jump through, which is kind of cool. And I don't know, I feel this kind of reductionist when people are like, "Oh, just do the thing, just make the comic."
Oh, dude, I fucking feel the same thing, man. It drives me nuts. You know, I'm trying to do my next comic right now, which is a story I kind of dropped back in 2006, right around the time I discovered Yisun Shin, and decided to do that. And I was like, that's the direction I wanted to go. But, you know, I had this superhero story. It was actually my first comic, which totally fucking bombed. I was really disappointed with my writing, everything. It was my first comic. Everybody's first comic sucks.
Yeah.
But it's like now I'm thinking about how to bring this back, and I don't have the faintest idea on how to do it. And I'm trying to figure it out, but it's not like this, oh yeah, I'm just going to do it now because, you know, I had a conversation with a fan and they're telling me that I need to get more shit out there. You know, it's like,
more stuff. Like, that's easy. Yeah. But I don't know. It is a learning. Every time it's a learning experience. I'm never like done with comics. I'm done with like, oh, this project's finished. Nice. Done it. Completed it. Like that like never happens. Like everyone is learning both from themselves and from each other, which I think is like one of the beautiful things about indie comics specifically, is that like you pick up another ideas. Like writing a letter to the backer, that wasn't my idea. I took it from someone else. Like someone else wrote a letter to their backers, and I was one of them. And I was like, this is a damn good idea. I'm using this. And everyone kind of like borrows from one another. I don't know. I think that's really cool.
I agree. I think it's awesome, and I think more creators should be doing that. I remember there was this one project that I backed, and this guy like literally took like a strip of paper and said, "Thanks for backing my project," and I felt like it was very impersonal. It was just like, "Here's my book," and the book was like shitty quality. You just saw that he didn't care about anything. It just got out there, and that's disappointing. But you know, obviously, you're going to get that from time to time, and you learn from other people's mistakes too, I think.
Yeah, but you don't have to exclusively learn from your own mistakes. You can learn from other people's. Like that is the essence of what advice is. Is someone like fucking up badly and being like, send everything this way. Like use media mail, don't use that, or like use a flat, or like all these like specific weird little minutia things that you think you forget about. Like, hey, make sure your page count divides by 4, or else you're fucked.
Yes, that's actually a really good point. Yes, that the one thing I've been really pushing for lately, personally, is to always make sure comics have page numbers in them. I feel like that's my calling in this world, is to put the page numbers back in comics so that you can find stuff. Because this weekend I was reading a whole bunch of stuff. Because my wife, we have a problem with our 7-year-old. Shit, he's gonna be 8 years old next week. Fuck. Anyway, our seven going on. Who the fuck cares? One day he's gonna be a teenager. It's not gonna fucking matter anymore. But he's been on the phone constantly, like glued to the phone day in and day out, every day. And because of the quarantine and because of everything, he doesn't have any other escape from reality. He's not doing any activities, not doing everything. He's just literally on the phone or on the iPad. So my wife was like, let's turn off the Wi-Fi. And I've been trying to honestly detox from being on the phone because I myself am constantly like staring at the phone all day long, waiting for updates, you know, being horrified by everything that's going on. And, you know, I think, you know, I made my stance pretty clear on earlier in the week, kind of like what you did with your letter here on where I stand. And, you know, obviously my heart bleeds for people who are asking for equality right now and to eliminate racism completely. I'm all for that, you know, and that's an important thing. But to get sucked up in all the negative news, now that I'm aware of what's going on, I know what I have to do personally, but I can't do any more than what I'm doing. So at some point you have to kind of disconnect yourself from that. Otherwise it's going to eat you whole. And I have this huge stack of comics that I've never read, that I haven't had a chance to read. So it's like, why not turn off the internet? Why not read some comics? Why not catch up on my backlog of stuff that's out there? And there's just some amazing stuff that I would never get around to, you know?
It's true. Yeah. I don't know. I feel I've heard Twitter described as like a paper bag you can like scream into. And like everyone is screaming into it at the moment because it's just like,
I fucking hate Twitter. Fuck Twitter. It's a
I like Twitter.
pile of shit. You know, I'll tell you why I hate it, and I don't want to be polarize it, and then you can tell me why you like it. But the reason why I hate it, you have these. It allows for all this misinformation to come about because of the fact that you can only say it's a bunch of headlines. You know, you say, you know, I fucking hated chocolate ice cream. You know, and all of a sudden everybody thinks, you know, you hate it. You hate all chocolate ice cream, but you didn't hate all chocolate ice cream. You just hated a particular type of chocolate ice cream, but you don't have enough characters to say it. So you have to reply to yourself now to say the same thing. Whereas on Facebook, I can just write whatever the fuck I want. Plus, why do I need all these different platforms? I mean, it's really kind of stupid if you think about it. You know, just have one. We can all use the same one. Monopolize that shit.
I feel that we should, like, I don't know, like the government should just step in, like nationalize Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then just all turn them off. Just key in.
That's it. Fuck it. Turn it off. Turn all that shit off. We don't fucking need it. The world ran so much better without all that shit.
We're doing snail mail only now.
Yep.
That's all we're doing. Letters to the editor. That's all we have now.
No, we need to bring back horse carriages too.
Really?
And specifically hire British people to deliver the mail. And read the mail to everybody because you guys got such beautiful reading voices and everything.
Yeah, it'd be like a town crier routine where it's like ding ding ding.
And I make all these jokes, Ryan, because I'm secretly jealous. I wish I was born British, but I'm not. I'm fully American, and you know,
like every culture like likes one another. Like we look up to the Americans a lot because they're so like individualistic and they say what they feel. Like they like like. They're fine. Americans are fine with their emotions, and it's cool. Like British people are very like, oh, I don't know, maybe that would be nice if you could maybe not do this. But Americans are like, hey, how give me this.
But you're an American now too. You've been living here for quite some time.
Like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, there you go. You're indoctrinated. You're fully.
I'm a cousin. I tell people like I've got my Chipotle order down. Which is,
there you go.
That's how you know you've made it, when you're like, all right, give me this. Questions and being upset about stuff is an American right, goddammit.
And I actually think it is. It is an American right. But I think that it's important for us to be pretty centered about it too. Like to simply say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Yeah.
Comes with a weight, and it doesn't matter if you're at the top or if you're in the middle or whatever. I mean, if you say something that's going to obviously upset people, you might want to avoid doing that. I don't think you should be completely off the cuff all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel there is. Yeah, there's a balance of all of this stuff. Like things progress. Like what was cool to say in the 50s and 60s, like I don't even want to read now. Things change, and it's not that like people are policing speech or anything. It's just people are just going to think you're an asshole. so you kind of have to be aware. It's more for you than it is for them specifically. Like, people will make a judgment on your character based on how you behave, and it's just how it goes. Like, it's just what it is. Everyone has the freedom to be an asshole. That's First Amendment. That's zero. That's the Constitution.
But you know, this is a great segue going back into coronary now, because you've created a world where plastic surgery is free. So there are no more ugly people in the world. Everybody is beautiful according to modern standards of what we consider to be beauty. So that's also, like, you know, the whole judge a book by its cover. Like, you know, Twitter is a very much that platform of judge a book by its cover. Now you got this world that you've designed where you basically design your own character like you would when you're playing a video game, like, you know, facial structure, everything, and then you go out into the world. Yeah. So what's the story in coronary for people that are, look, I mean, we got the concept, but you know, how does this evolve into your story?
It basically is a lot of different dialogues where each character represents a different perspective on the problem of, like, that's not really a problem necessarily, but like how society influences our self-image and how we define our worth by that. Like, Justin is the business guy. He's the James Bond in the James Bond analogy. Like, he's the guy that made it happen, and he's like, yeah, this is cool. Like, this is just what people want. Like, if people want to be whatever side.
He's like the Elon Musk kind of character. Yeah.
Elon Musk before, but I wrote it in like 2011, 2012. Yeah. Like, Elon Musk, like, he copied Justin a bit. Like, it's such a dick move on his part, honestly. And he's very much like, yeah, everyone can do whatever they want. And Luna's more like, nah, like, fuck that. That's all ridiculous and dumb. Like, everyone should define their own value, like, based on whatever they want. And I feel that I wouldn't say that's necessarily the right opinion all the time, but like, there's different perspectives on it, and I like exploring that as an idea.
I think so. I think that's interesting, because I think our opinions can change rather dramatically very quickly. And we're seeing it happen all in real time right now. But another thing that's interesting to me too is hypocrisy, because I think that there are a lot of people who say one thing and then do another. Do you have characters that kind of say that, like, you know, this is wrong, but yet there are people who have taken part in this free plastic surgery? And
not yet, but I'm gonna steal that idea.
Please do, man. I want you to steal that shit from me. Steal it like you would candy from a baby. Because baby shouldn't be eating candy anyway. It's bad for them.
Yeah, that's 101. Okay. But yeah.
So is coronary it's ongoing then? This is just the first volume, and there's going to be more. So what's the intent here? How many volumes are we going to see?
Scripted all the way out for 12 issues. So this is the first, like, 4-issue arc being done. So there's going to be like a volume 2 and a volume 3. I don't know if there's anything confirmed afterwards, but we'll see how it goes.
So like Isun Shin, it's a trilogy, but if you need to and you want to, which I think we all want you to, you're going to keep going forward with it.
Yes, we're going to keep going. Like, this is not the end.
And this is your baby. So we're going to get to Housebound in a minute. But this is like your main squeeze. There are no other projects that you're working on outside of it.
No mistresses, no any of that. Dedicated, married.
Yeah. You got that. He put a ring on it.
Yeah, this is this is not even my wedding ring. This is my coronary ring.
You know, it was awesome. It was my mother-in-law's birthday last Sunday, and we were all having dinner, and she made a toast to me, and she's like, here's to Onrie's dreams, and may they evolve into something better than what he's currently doing right now. My mother-in-law hates Yisun Shin. She just really doesn't.
You should keep going.
She hates it. I keep wearing my shirts. I keep rocking it every day, and of course, but if she only knew how committed I was, But I think that's also kind of hard too. I mean, is that challenging for you to just like be like, because I know it's hard for me. It's hard for me to just be like, yeah, I got this one thing and that's it. Because all my energy goes into this one thing. I don't, and I'm working on other projects. Obviously you are too. You're editing other stuff. So am I. But the commitment is to the one thing that you've put all your money, your love, your time, blood, sweat, and tears into.
Yeah. I feel I'm kind of like too far down the rabbit hole now to back down. Back out, you know?
Of course, yeah.
It's embarrassing to be like, nah, it's done. Like, change course like that. Nah, like I want to be like, I know other creators that like build pitches out for like 5 pages, and if it goes nowhere, they come up with another thing that's 5 pages. I couldn't personally.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that either. I'm with you.
Invested. Like, I'm like, all right, I need to know the history of why this is like this and like that is like that. Like, I'm very.
If you're putting the time in to build out everything, there's no point in saying, okay, I got this idea right here, because then it's mostly just, as you guys put it, rubbish. It's all rubbish when you have like just a 5-pitch. Here's a 5-page idea. Here's the pitch here. We'll see how a publisher likes it. Publisher doesn't like it. Hey, I got something else. I can throw this at you, and I can knock my book over. I can do whatever you want me to do.
Yeah.
You know,
that's great. Yeah, I don't know, like pitching and constantly getting rejected it's crushing, but it's a noble thing. Like, people can do it, power to them. But I personally, I don't know. I have to like focus and be like, all right.
Oh, I think people respect you more when you focus on this one thing, and when you put your time into it and say, look, I give a shit about what I'm doing right now. I'm not just jumping from one project to another. I'm not trying to be like Brian Michael Bendis and write like 7 different comics at the same time, and or like Charles Soule and, you know, be a full-time lawyer and write 7 comics and have a rock band and be a lawyer and blah, 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 and do all these other things. You know, it's like, I got my focus here, and maybe it's not the most lucrative thing in the world, and I get that too. But when you have like other commitments in life, you're married, right? So it's like, you know,
going on, but still,
you gotta take your wife to Chipotle a couple times a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm a chicken burrito man because it's the cheapest.
There you go. Yeah, you save the steak for her, and, you know, stick to the chicken.
And it's I don't know. It like gets down to what it's fundamentally about. Like, if no one's like willing to, if you're not willing to put the time into the project yourself and like put your time, money, patience, energy into making it possible, like how can you potentially convince anyone else it's worth your time? Like, if you're not putting it in yourself.
I agree 100%.
Be dedicated to it. Yeah. It's like, there's no. Yeah, if it's just 4 or 5 pages of a pitch, like, I don't know. If no one wants that, that's cool. I'm just going to do my own thing. And if they want to come along for the ride, cool, power to them. But it's going to be on my terms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like what Jack Kirby put it best. You know, do it your way. You know, like, there's no one way to break into comics. It's a fucking firewall, and, you know, you break in the moment you say you're doing it. But now this brings me to kind of an interesting topic, because it's been a while since we caught up, and there's been this massive lockdown. I'm sure you had big plans for 2020 originally. And
tons. My lifestyle all over the place. Yeah, so many things I had to cancel.
Oh, you're being sarcastic.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you really did have plans. Okay.
No.
You were just like, this came and you're like, okay, whatever. But regardless of anything, you jumped on board something that I think is very relevant to what's going on. It sounds like an incredibly interesting project, Housebound, which obviously there's a reason why it's called that, and you're the editor of it, and that means you brought all the talent on board too.
Yeah, it was. I co-edited it with a guy called Alex Dandino, who's done another. He's also an indie comic. Get him on the podcast. Get him on too.
Sure.
He's not British though. I'm not sure if that's going to mess.
No. Sorry, he's not British. No, that's cool. Send him my way, please. I will absolutely have him on my show. Definitely. I know that we'll definitely talk about that too. But I want to hear from your perspective.
Yeah, and basically, it was right when like the lockdown had been announced, and everyone was like, right, we're going to be inside indefinitely. No more cons, no more comic shops, no more pull lists, no more Wednesdays. It's just going to be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That's it. We're just going to miss the whole thing. And we were like, all right, me and a couple of other indie folks got together and we're like, what do we do? Like we have this energy that we pour into comics. Like, that is not the side hustle, but that's like what we do when we're not working or doing any other stuff. And we're like, all right, we want to make like an anthology. Like we want to like pool everyone's talent and resources together and make something really cool and make it for charity too. So yeah, we built Housebound. Cover was also done by Joel too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Joel smashed that one out of the park too.
Yeah. I don't think he ever stops working. I think he just is constantly like, pretty much anytime I message him, he's already like got like 3 other things, and then I tell him like, hey, I need this thing done ASAP, and he gets it done without a problem. Just one of the sweetest guys. I
shout out to Joel.
Shout out to Joel's actually watching the show. See, Joel, you can see me right now.
Hey, Joel, what's going on?
How's it going, Joel? What's up?
Yeah. Interestingly, I've never talked to Joel. I've never heard his voice, but he's heard mine. We never like fully communicated.
I've heard his voice once. I called him one time through Skype.
He has
this like very deep, powerful voice.
That's he's just he's on like a throne, and he has his like Cintiq art stuff on one side, and he's just like commanding.
and a nail bat that he uses whenever
Yeah, he's like
someone gives him shit.
Hey guys, he's just
whenever his internet goes out, he just fucking hits it a couple times, and Actually, he says he's an AI. He's commenting right now. He's AI.
Yeah.
Well, that would explain why he's able to do everything so quickly. That's good.
I tell people sometimes he's a hive of bees.
He's a hive of bees. He should actually change his name from Joel to Jarvis.
No, he's real. He's real, cool guy.
He would be real if you got Paul Bettany to play him, but here's the problem. Paul Bettany is playing you because he's British and so are you. So it's like,
Bettany again.
Need to get Antonio Banderas to play Joel Saavedra in a movie.
That would be good. Who'll play you, Onrie? Or do you just play yourself?
Shit. Well, obviously Jason Statham, man.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Danny McBride. He's my spirit animal.
Danny McBride and Joel, if you're up there.
Even though he looks nothing like me, I wouldn't want him to change, his likeness just to fit my standards. Danny McBride, he's just everything I want to be in life,
Mm-hmm. I have no idea who that guy is, so yeah.
Oh, Eastbound and you watch his show, Eastbound and Down, and what's another one he did? Vice Principals. That was really good. And he just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, Joel says Bruce Willis as well. That's also an option. But I don't know. We'll see.
Bruce Willis is an asshole, I hear. I read about him in the Kevin Smith's autobiography. And he was like a real dick. I mean, I'm a dickhead too, so I guess yeah. All right, Joel, I'll give you that. Good job. You get a pay raise right now.
Not from me, from Onrie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, no, I don't want to pay for anything. Here's what's going to happen for real. When we get Joel out to America, he's going to have to go do a show that Ted Sikora is at, and I don't know if you know this, Ryan, but Ted, he constantly owes me dinner. So what I'm offering is Joel can be there when Ted buys me dinner. See, it's not that he gets a free dinner or anything. He just gets to be there. It's like he gets to be in the room.
Mm-hmm.
We're having too much fun.
Too much fun. We need to pull this back down. We need to get back to the.
Yes, we do. So, what kinds of stories are we going to see in Housebound?
All sorts. That was one of the really cool things. We've got like 65 pages in, and it's like I believe we're at like 17 different stories now, from all over the place. There's people that are doing from the perspective of certain superheroes, the perspective of some of the coyotes that are coming into some cities now and like retaking some spaces. There's just all sorts in there. I'll send you a copy once we've got.
Please do. Well, are you guys gonna do a Kickstarter for it, or did you do a Kickstarter for it?
Yeah, we did a Indiegogo campaign for like 3 weeks, and we raised just about $900 for it, which was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, let me buy it from you. And as a matter of fact, going back to the beginning of the episode, Katooni Windsor, who's one of our frequent viewers and a good friend of mine, and actually local to you, Ryan. You guys need to connect. Katooni's he's good people. He wants to know A, have you ever considered voice acting? I'm just going to answer right now. No, Ryan has not, because he's a writer, and that's what British people do. They write things, and they're always brilliant, no matter what. It's all copyful. It's all copyful. But where can we buy your work, particularly Coronary, and where will we be able to buy Housebound?
Yeah, we have a website, coronarycomic.com. It's a really inventive name. Yeah, we also have it on Amazon too. I think Indie Planet and Comic. I think Comic Central's gone down now. But yeah, coronarycomic.com or Amazon. Up to you. I will be uploading issues 3 and 4 soon, so keep it posted. But you can get at least 1 and 2 online, and 3, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I don't know enough about my own website, Ryan. Get it together.
Well, that's because you're too busy writing brilliant stuff. But since you are self-publishing this, how are you going about distribution? Like, are you contacting local shops? Or just in shops in general? Diamond,
Yeah, is Diamond? Are they going under?
There is market share to be taken. Good riddance to DC. This is the time for us to storm in and take 2% of the market.
We've slowly but surely been communicating with some shops and getting some copies out there, which is cool. We've yet to fully jump into full distribution, but we're kind of waiting until we have the full trade, which is what we now have. So we can potentially pitch that to distributors and get that out to the wider public. But it's a ton of work. Indie comics is a lot, as we all know, I'm sure. But yeah, we're working on it. We're getting there. We have an ISBN too.
Look at that. An ISBN, that's some serious fucking shit right there. That means no bullshit right here, okay? Yeah. This is the real deal. If you want your book out there, and I'm not joking now, I'm speaking 100% from honesty, that you absolutely need to have this. This means you're in, that this is an actual viable product that people can pick up and purchase at any location, any store, anywhere on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Once the restrictions ease a little bit and we can get back to wandering around bookstores like we all want to, wasting time in bookstores is my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, same here, man. I miss that experience of going into comic shops, especially when you're looking for inspiration. I think that's why I've been reading less too, is because it's I don't have that luxury anymore to go to shops and just kind of browse the back issue bin. That's what it's all about.
I love the back issue bin. 50 cents, some weird thing from the 80s. I'm just I'm all about it. They have ads for cigarettes or something inside there, It's so weird, 80s.
The Marlboro Cowboy, dude.
Yeah, it's buy an Atari game console or something. What? I remember I saw one that was an ad for the premiere of Firefly. It was new space western. And I was oh, that's kind of cool. Nice. Yeah, back issues. I love back issues.
So what were you're going through a back issue bin? Mm-hmm. What are some of your greatest finds, and what are some of your biggest influences in comics?
Ooh, one of my greatest finds was a series called Starve by Brian Wood, which is basically, it's a comic about a washed up chef who used to be really famous and then kind of fell off and then joined this huge chef game show called Starve. It's kind of like an Anthony Bourdain kind of thing. But the cool thing about it is in each issue there are recipes that you can follow that are in the comic and real. So you can pick them out and be oh, cool, I can actually do this recipe. That's one of my...
That sounds fascinating. Who drew it?
I have no idea. But it was very good. And I got it for $1 and I was sold.
And was it everything was in one issue, or was it a trade, or what was it?
It was just the first issue, but they had a full run of it too. So I was
and that would have been $2.
Yeah, it would have been $3. Yeah, there's just a bunch of quality stuff that you can get for super cheap.
Yes, there is, and especially at conventions. That's the one thing I miss too, is doing that hunt and getting all those the bargaining and getting those key issues. And
Yeah, I'm totally bitten with that. My thing is the specific runs of Moon Knight that I really like. Like Brian Wood had a really good one. I believe Jeff Lemire did one. I don't know. There was a specific run that was just gorgeous.
Was it the Bill Sienkiewicz?
It might have been. I think Colin Bunn did one as well. It was in like 2014, 2015.
Oh, okay. You're thinking more recent. Yeah, I have a bunch of Moon Knights that I bought, and I haven't read them yet. Mm-hmm. And now is like honestly the perfect time to do it. You know, it's like I don't know why I haven't been reading. I mean, I've been with my kids so much, and honestly, it's just like when you first get this reality, like we all get this reality or this wish at times when we're like deep in the grind of what would it be like if I had all this time in the world to just sit back and essentially retire, which is kind of what this felt like, except it didn't, because you still have those problems of, hey, how am I going to make it by at the end of the month, and what's going to happen next, and are we all going to die? You know, that kind of
that snowball in. Yeah, it's an interesting time. As I said, I hated in my letter. Things are unprecedented, historic, all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good time to I don't know, take stock of everything you've got, really. Like take stock of the things lucky to have, which is cool.
I agree with that. You know. So I'm so excited to get my kids' ass out of the house and back to school. I mean, I think that's been the hardest thing for me, is just like constantly trying to occupy him and knowing that I'm like not giving him the kind of education that he needs, because, you know, the world's a fucking bastard. You know, you need to be prepared. And I think school, as faulty as it is for many things, gives you that sort of like, it's like the roots of your tree, your educational tree. And you need those experiences of being around kids so that you kind of understand what, you know, happens when we get older. And, you know, because really school's a simulation of what real life is, you know, in many ways. You got your circles of friends, and then you got your specialties, and then you got all these different kind of areas you can go into. And it's like when you're missing out on that, I think that's kind of like it's a sad thing.
Yeah, like socialization is important. Like that's how it's only the way you know yourself is by knowing other people. I don't have to get too philosophical about this, but yeah, like you have
get philosophical.
Get philosophical.
God damn it! We got a British guy here. We need to philosophize this fucking shit. Sorry, I'm sorry, man. You're fucking hating on me. But I swear to you, it's all out of love, and it's jealousy. It's true jealousy.
Yeah, like meeting other people is great. Like I don't know, like you kind of miss the stuff you used to have and took for granted now. It's very strange.
Yeah, but then I look at it too, and it's like, you know, he's learning too from a different standpoint. Like he's learning by engaging on the internet, and to be honest, I am too. I'm learning from I'm learning from you. You know, it's this is a different type of experience, because we don't get the chance to do this kind of stuff when we're in the grind either, you know.
It's true. It's I don't know, the thing that's good about Twitter, we missed it.
Yes, you didn't tell me. I just went off on a tangent because I just kept talking. All right, go ahead.
The thing that's good about Twitter is that you can meet other people who are doing indie comics and like support their work and ask them for advice, and then they ask you for advice, and you can build a network of people that are like-minded and passionate about indie comics, which is great.
No, absolutely. How do you do it on Twitter? Because I mean, I feel like you can do the same thing on Facebook. There's the nice thing about Facebook is you got these individualized groups you can become a part of, and everybody's basically there to talk comics. But what specifically about Twitter has helped you, you know, sort of find that? I'm just curious.
I think it's just, I mean, it's the similar thing with Facebook. Like find, like it helps with supporting others first. Like you can't just come in and be like, hey, everyone buy my book. Like, why doesn't everyone just buy all my stuff? you can't come at it from that angle. But if you come at it from like supporting one another, like if you're buying cool stuff online, like tell them it's cool, share it, like push it to other people, you know. Like if people are like, hey, what's a cool autobiographical indie work? I'm like, hey, read Marx. It's really cool. Do as in Marx, your comic, not.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that.
It's like you find the I don't know, you find what people like, and you help one another. It's cool.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's something I think I've failed to do over the last 10 years, because I've just been, and it's not something that it was never intentional. It's just like, I haven't read as many comics. I don't read as many comics as I like, and I don't read comics the same way I used to as a fan. I read comics now to learn from them. So most of the time when I'm reading, it's not for enjoyment, it's for the education. That's where I get my feed now. I don't get my feed from reading, monthly comics anymore, unless there's something that is, so talked about and everybody's saying you need to jump on this. So, like, I think the last big thing I read was Mr. Miracle, and yesterday I read Strange Adventures 1, which I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and looking forward to the next issues coming on. And it's important to kind of like keep yourself in the know of what's out there. But, generally speaking, it's like, I don't also have the money to spend on, shit tons of new comics either. They're $5 for a fucking single issue now. Like, dude.
That's why back issues. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, back issues is what it's all about. And that's where you learn too. I mean, those guys back then, I think they had a lot more freedom. I think that's when the innovation felt more real and less, I don't know, less restricted. Like now it's like they're just trying to come up with that next big hit for the movies, and it just kind of feels forced.
Yeah, it feels a little. Yeah, you talked earlier about like playing with someone's toys for like the IP for Marvel and DC, and I guess that's kind of what it's like. Like, I don't honestly, and I know it sounds very pretentious of me, but I don't think I would write like a Batman or a Fantastic Four story or whatever. Like, it would be too much pressure and like not enough freedom. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just kill off some guy for fun. Like, everything is like tied to like $1 billion like movie project.
Right. No, but that's a real point. And I mean, it's certainly, if someone paid you the money, I'm sure you'd find a way to get over that. But I mean, it's just that doesn't happen very often. That's not how it works. You usually have to start, they want to put you on some smaller tier books that typically don't sell well, and they want to just throw you on that and see how you kind of handle those environments. And then they test you. They're constantly testing you, and it's not that great being at the top, to be honest with you, because once you get to that level where you can do anything, you're still going to get scrutinized all the fucking time, because now you're playing with characters that are established, and you don't have that freedom.
Can you imagine the wave of hate if you got for like writing getting the Order of Batman's utility belt wrong or something?
Well, Tom King, that speaking of him, he needed to have a security crew with him at San Diego Comic-Con a couple of years ago, because when he released the Batman issue where him and Catwoman were getting married, there were people who were making death threats to him about that shit. And it's
what?
Yeah, that's serious shit. I saw him over there. He was with his artist, and I stopped him, and there was like a third big guy who was right behind him, and I'm like, we're just friends, I just wanted to say hi to him. And
hey,
how's that? And Tom's like, I don't fucking know you, and he walked off.
don't tell me, don't mention marriage to me at all. Like, that's, I don't know. That's a level of fandom that is just like beyond.
Yeah, and is it really worth it to get up to that level, to the point where like you don't have your own life anymore? Like,
it's true. Yeah, I don't know. I get to play with my own toys. I can make new ones and break them whenever I want, because it's like my story.
Yeah, and your fans are going to be there with you because they're buying you, so they want to see they want to see how crazy you can get. Yeah. Well, Ryan, we're at the end of our episode here, and I want to give you a chance to have one last shout out. Tell us where we can find you. Let's get some people to follow you from here, and announce Onward with Ryan from here, and take it away, my friend. This is your moment.
Do I get to change it to like British?
Yes. You can do whatever you need to.
Nice. I am Ryan Burke at Ryan Burke Writer on Instagram, Twitter, Ryan Burke Writer on Facebook as well, Coronary Comic Online, all that good stuff. Bring on the monarchy, onward to Victoria.
Yes, onward to victory. I love that. That's fantastic. Do me a favor, hang out backstage. I'm gonna wrap it up. I just want to talk to you for an extra couple minutes if I can, just because you're the man. Get a couple more minutes of British wisdom. Hang tight. What a great episode. We will be back tomorrow with a very special guest, so I think you guys are going to really enjoy having on the show, and I'm looking forward to it. And for those of you who are out there, I hope you've had a great weekend. I can see that things are kind of starting to go a more peaceful route, and that makes me very happy. And I really hope that you are all taking care of yourselves. I hope that we don't see a second wave of coronavirus spikes or anything like that. I hope that we have a nice, beautiful summer and that things can slowly start to kind of come together and we can start to venture out into the world as we are meant to do as human beings. Of course, this is optimistic thinking, but why do we have to be pessimistic all the time? I think it's time for us to be more optimistic. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new episode. And until that time comes, onward to victory.